Hello and welcome to another edition of On Deck. I'm the host, Big B. Next to me is my backstop, Crispy Bacon. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing this evening?
We're doing good. And
Doing good.
below us is the big guy, Big Dog Greg. How's it going, bud?
Oh man, it's doing pretty good. It's just that the kids are getting a little upset that they're not going outside for recess and stuff. But other than that, life is good.
Oh, okay. And soon, hopefully, to be joining us is Coach D. He's said he's stuck in traffic, so some bad weather where he's at, I guess, is causing some traffic jam. So hopefully he'll be on. So, guys, week one technically in the books for most of us. I know there's a couple games going on today we'll touch on. But, Greg, tell us a little bit about the first weekend for your, I was going to say Carolina Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, it's been a pretty good week so far for my Cardinals. I think that one of the cool things is that getting the big three back, getting old Pujols back in there with Wainwright and Yachty. So it's kind of a homecoming. It's kind of reminiscent of of days gone by. Their World Series appearances and their World Series championships. So it's kind of good to get a little bit of the gang back together and stuff. So yeah, it's been a pretty good week. I think there's a lot of excitement. Getting Pujols back at least to finish out his last year and everything. So I'm still anticipating a great year this year. I'm just a little bit worried about pitching health at this point.
And Pujols has come out and said this is his last year, right? Have had the other guys come out and said it, or
I don't think so, but I think that Wainwright is getting close. I haven't heard anything on Yadier or anything, but I'm assuming that all three of those guys are getting really close.
because I tell you one thing, if those three all retire at the same time, that would probably be the first trio to go in the Hall of Fame together on the same team that I can
Yeah.
recall. I mean, so because I think they're all three first ballots for me at least. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
mean, no doubt that Molina's in there. I mean, you
oh
can't
yeah.
get a better catcher than him.
Well, we just had one retire that was a pretty good catcher too. So and the Giants catcher, I can't think of his name now.
Buster Posey.
Yeah, Posey. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And the thing about Posey is he still had, I think Posey still had a good 2-3 years left in the tank if he really wanted it.
oh yeah, yeah. No, you're exactly right. But like those saying in Moneyball, your time is up. Nobody knows when, but Mother Nature will tell you when your time is up. Something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So,
And
Chris, how
speaking
about?
of Pujols, he just hit
Yeah.
his first homer.
All right, so he's 20 away. The countdown begins. So,
He has plenty of time.
oh yeah, he's got plenty of time. So, Chris, how about your
Yeah,
Rangers there? I know they took a bump a couple of games, but what's going on with them?
yeah. I think they're like 1-4. I want to say they're playing tonight against Colorado, and hopefully that's going to be a game we can rebound from, especially from last night. It was a bad call, at the end of extra innings, but I mean overall the hitting's been better this year. I think we're like one of the top teams as far as home runs go. I just think we need to work on pitching because we're giving up too many runs. But I know it's
Yeah.
still early on in the season, so
So, walk us through that bad call that you're talking about.
yeah, basically, I think they're reviewing the slide. Colorado was, because the umpires thought he was safe. Uh, Texas thought he was safe. Colorado thought he was out. New York went to the review system and basically determined that he was out. Game was over. It was a 2-out situation.
All right. So, in your eyes, he was safe. I'm guessing is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we had there was a call here in Minnesota opening night. first batter, matter of fact, for the Mariners. Gets out a bang bang play. Well, they're describing it. The Minnesota announcers, radio announcers, because I was driving to work, said that he's out. He was way out. They couldn't see anything that made Sano touch first base. They reviewed it, called him safe. So it happens both ways where, you think he's out. So, but speaking of Twins, my Twins, come off a 2-2 series split with Seattle. And I got to say, overall, I am impressed so far. I'm not going to toot my horn and say we're going to go all the way because if you're going to win 500, you're not going much. But I got to say, so far the four opening day or the four starters that I've seen so far, pitched pretty decent. I think they all got to 4 innings. I think it was, and then the bullpen came in. One game cost us. Duffy came in the ninth, blew the save, scored 2 runs on him. And that's the only thing that the bullpen's given up so far, knock on wood. So they've gone 18 innings and only 2 runs allowed. So
that's not too bad.
No, I'm very impressed with that right now because that's where I was kind of shaky at. I mean, Ober, he pitched, I think, game 3. He gave up 4 runs. Gray gave up 2. Ryan gave up 2 in the opener. But yeah, so far all 4 starters have gone 4+ innings. So with Bundy and Ober going 5. So right now I'm pretty impressed on what's going on with them. The bats, kind of were quiet first couple nights, but they came alive Sunday, led by Buxton with a couple home runs this weekend. I think he had 3 this weekend. And then I think they hit 6 on Sunday alone. And I think it was game 1 where Sanchez hit one. Everybody thought it was gone. I'm at work cheering, and they went to the warning track. So, kind of a little heartbreaking there to lose in the bottom of the ninth. But outside of that,
You're thinking.
Oh yeah, I that thing was crushed. I don't know what kept it in the ballpark, or if God was just playing,
Money games.
spoilers on us and just froze it up there for a little bit and let it drop. But yeah, so all right. So like I said, guys, hopefully Dirk will be joining us soon, and we'll get his take on the Mets here. Right now, we do have some action going on. Oh, my phone's not working properly right now for me. There we go.
I know Rangers just started, but it's
okay. So
0-0 game, top of the second.
So some finals right now. The Guardians beat the Royals 10-7. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was Monday on the wrong day. Okay. So let's see here. So for today's games, the Red Sox beat the Tigers 5-3. Guardians beat the Reds 10-5.
Oh wow.
Guardians have been putting up some runs lately. That might be a team to watch. The White Sox beat the Mariners 3-2. And the Cubs beat the Pirates 2-1. And right now we got let's see here. Athletics down 6-3 to the Rays in the 4th. Mets and Phillies. Mets up by 1 and at the bottom of the 5th. Brewers and Baltimore are tied 4-4. Blue Jays Yankees, another good series probably to watch. 2-0 Yankees. Mariners and Angels are tied. Braves and Nationals. Braves are up by 2, 3-1 in the 2nd. Dodgers and Twins are tied at 0, top of 3rd. Royals and Cardinals 3-3. They're big dog. So in the 2nd. And then the Rockies and Rangers are in the 2nd tied. So overall, first week, what kind of stood out, Greg? I'll start with you. What stood out the first weekend of baseball?
What stood out in the first weekend of baseball is it's really nice to see so many fans already tuned in. We're seeing a lot of people in the stands already. I know that opening weekend usually gets pretty good amount of fans, but as we've seen in years past, sometimes a lot of franchises, they don't end up getting the seats filled unless they got a really competitive team, or uh, or they're pushing the playoffs. So it's good to see how many fans are just engaged right now and ready to get baseball back. Um, just a few minutes ago, Albert Pujols, hit his first home run for the Cardinals. Since he's left, so that was pretty exciting. So he's still got plenty of pop in his final year. So um, yeah, so I think that one thing that always stands out early in baseball is everybody thinks that their team's gonna win the World Series.
Yeah.
Even the worst teams always seem to start out. The weaker teams always seem to always have a pretty good first week of baseball. It seems like. So you get some bottom dwellers like the Orioles or the Pirates and stuff like that. They always seem to play pretty good in the first few weeks of the season. So that's always interesting.
Yeah, sure. Chris, how about you? What stood out in the first weekend? You're on mute, Chris.
No, I would think that, I know it's baseball, but no, really, not any major injuries. I know there might be a couple players that may have got hit by a baseball, but nothing too serious injury wise, especially with the shorter spring training.
Okay. Yeah, for me, it's like Greg said, the fans are in tune, ready. It seems like a lot of joy around baseball right now. Happy to see it after the lockout. I think that has to do with the lockout. Everybody did think this was going to happen, but and to me, uh, if I recall, I don't think. I mean, this might be the earliest that we haven't even had a perfect team going into the second series. Every team lost at least one game in the opening series, so we don't have to talk about winning streaks and stuff like that. I mean, granted, 5 games is probably the biggest winning streak to start a season. Uh, let's see, we got a couple comments here. Adrian chimed in first. Hey, how's it going? Your Twins, speaking of me, are a better team this year, especially offensively. Right now, I would say pitching is probably better right now. The offense, I wasn't worried about. So, and then he also chimed in. How about Lindor and Alonso both getting hit in the face, consecutive pitches, nights? Yeah, it happens. I mean, we all see the game. I mean, I don't know if it was meant on purpose. I hope not, but I didn't see it. So he also chimed in. The AL East and NL East both. Well, should I? Yeah, they're definitely going to have big races. What do you guys think of that comment, Greg, on the AL East and NL East being probably great races to watch?
Well, we hit on it a lot last week about the AL East.
Uh-huh.
Actually, we covered all the divisions, and
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I think that with the AL East, it's pretty much you got 4 teams, and then you got the Orioles that
Yep.
really probably aren't going to do much. So anywhere from first through fourth in that division, you're looking at a division that could possibly have 3 playoff teams in it. So it's kind of going to be a coin toss, really. Yeah, between third and fourth place. The Yankees are going to be good. The Red Sox are definitely a team
Yep.
that's last year they surprised a lot of people and made a run, and they weren't supposed to be very good last year. So they've only gotten better after adding Trevor Story and getting Chris Sale back healthy. So the Rays, they're slipping a little bit, but they're still a team to not take lightly. And of course, the Blue Jays, a very young, talented team with a lot of pop and some good pitching depth. So outside of the Orioles, I think that you're going to see a good race. I think that you're going to see a race where first place and fourth place in that division are probably going to only be separated by 3 or 4 games.
No, I think
The
I think
NL
you're right.
East, honestly, once you get through, it's kind of going to be, I don't know who's going to be in the bottom. I think it's going to be either Miami or Washington at the bottom. But I mean, the Phillies, they added some bats. And then of course coaches Mets are going to be tough, and then the Braves of course have excellent pitching, and they didn't really lose a whole lot. Even though they lost Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson is an excellent defensive first baseman with a lot of pop. So, and getting Acuna back healthy, that's only going to make them that much more of a threat. So, yeah, I think that the AL East and the NL East are going to be definitely two races to watch, and I think that it's probably going to come down to like the last week or 10 days of the season to figure out who's going to come out on top in those divisions.
Yeah, no. Chris, how about you? What do you think of the comment there? The East on both sides of the divisions are going to be tough.
I could see both sides being tough. I know that Toronto, like the first few, I guess series Rangers had with them. I mean, they're really good. They score on us a lot, and I could see them making the playoffs along with a few others. But I think both sides, of the East, they can be tough.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, in the American League East, you got Baltimore and the four other teams. I mean, right now, if I'm any other team besides those four, if you don't win your division, you're probably going to be a couple games out of the playoff spot because, like Greg said, you're probably going to get the 3 wild cards right out of that division right there. So, you know, that doesn't leave many playoff spots open for other teams. So, in the AL East, I mean, yeah, Marlins, Washington probably going to battle for the bottom, but I can see Washington probably getting in the playoff mix there for a while. Atlanta Mets, Philly, as long as they stay healthy, are going to be up there. And honestly, I think the West, AL West, is going to be another division to watch. San Diego, San Fran, the Dodgers, maybe Colorado. I know, it's only 4 games in. They're 3-1 right now. Diamondbacks are 1-3. But I still think that West is also going to be a hard division to watch out on. So,
that's going to be a very intense division if San Diego plays up to their potential. They really, really dropped the ball last year. They had so much talent and everything, and they just couldn't put it together.
Yeah. No, and Adrian also chimes in. The biggest thing for the Mets will be the status of DeGrom. You're right. I mean, they got good pitching outside DeGrom, but if DeGrom pitches like he did last year, I mean, he's definitely going to be a key addition to that rotation when he comes back. And then right after that, his next comment, Tatis, when he comes back, definitely Tatis is going to be another guy Padres are going to miss. And I think he's due to be out the first 3 months. So, hopefully they don't bury themselves too much. So, Greg, what do you think about that with DeGrom and Tatis?
With DeGrom, I'm afraid looking at things going on with DeGrom and his arm and his shoulder and everything. I'm really hoping because he's such an electric pitcher and very hard to hit. And he's just kind of the heart and soul of that pitching staff for the Mets. He's won a Cy Young award, on a losing team before. So he's such a dominant pitcher, and he pitches with such velocity and everything. And I just really hope that he can come back healthy and everything because his career is starting to remind me of another one of my favorite Cardinals pitchers, Chris Carpenter, who was so dominant for years and everything, but he had to bow out a little bit early because he just had so many rotator cuff injuries and bad shoulder injuries and stuff. And he just threw his arm out, and he was used so much, and he just didn't have anything left in the tank. And I really don't want to see something like that happen to DeGrom. But I feel like their careers are kind of like parallel right now. I think that they're kind of going in the same direction where they're dominant, but they're starting to show wear and tear on the arm. And I just really hope that's not the case because I love watching DeGrom pitch. And, he's one of those high velocity pitchers that forces a lot of ground outs and stuff. But I think that he's been used a lot. He's thrown a lot of innings and everything, and I think that things are starting to break down a little bit. But I think they're absolutely right about the Mets are only going to go as far as DeGrom, if he can stay healthy,
Yep.
because, he gets them a lot. He eats up a lot of innings, gets a lot of Ks, gets a lot of outs, and he's always either a Cy Young winner or in the top three, for the past few seasons. So, um, and then, of course, with Tatis, the injury, that was definitely kind of one of those young and dumb kind of things. You got a massive contract, you're out there kind of taking things into your own hands and taking a risk with your career, with your life, with that kind of behavior and decision making. So if Tatis can get healthy and somebody can just keep him on the straight and narrow, the Padres are going to go a long ways, because you're talking about an elite a talent, a 30, 40 plus home run guy, 100 and 100 to 120 RBI guy in the lineup. So if the Padres can get him back, I think that they're going to be a team to reckon with. But they've got a lot going on in San Diego. I think that last year it just kind of depleted the team morale, because they got all that great pitching with Blake Snell and Darvish and everything, and they never did add up. On paper they had a great pitching staff, but nothing ever really came to fruition on that. So I think that getting Tatis back will definitely help them. But they've got to protect him, and there's got to be. I think there's guidelines in their contract on what they can and cannot do. So
Okay.
hopefully they can follow the rules.
All right, Chris. How about you?
Hmm.
DeGrom and Tatis. What do you think?
No, it seems like no matter the sport you're in, whether it be football, basketball, even baseball, and I know it's not a one man sport, per se, it's a team effort, but you have that one player going down that is a key player. It hurts the team, and hopefully they can get back to getting back on the field and getting back with their team. Hopefully they're healthy and they stay healthy. Uh, it, it's just it's bad no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, DeGrom had a Cy Young season last year. I wish he could have gotten the word, but didn't qualify for it. And then, like Greg said, Tatis, if he comes back, and Padres definitely could use him. I mean, he's a big bat in the lineup, young. Made a stupid mistake in the offseason. So we'll see where that goes. Hopefully, the teams, the Mets and Padres aren't too far out of it when their stars come back, and they can make the playoff race pretty interesting. So, looking at some news here, it looks like C2C might have some buying opportunity here, as I'm reading that the Washington Nationals might be up for sale. So maybe we could pull our money together and we could buy a professional team. It's probably going to cost us a little bit north of $2 billion. That's what Forbes is valuing the team at. So
I'll have to see what I got. I don't know if it'll be enough.
yeah, exactly. So Chris, let's start with you. What do you think of the news? How will it affect the Nationals this season with the news that they might be looking to sell part of the team or the whole team?
I don't know if it's gonna hurt like what the Nationals are doing. I think the players on the team, what they'll do what they have to do to win, but hopefully they're not concerned with about it, like putting too much of their focus into it. Hopefully they just do what they need to do on the field.
Okay, what about you, Greg? What do you think? Is that going to affect the fans, the media, the team, with the word that they're trying to sell the team?
I think that any time that you have a team that's kind of in a transition, a team that's ready to sell, I think that it always kind of first affects the fans, because the fans don't know what kind of commitment is going to be involved to try to put a good product out there. But I think that right now Washington has a pretty good fan base, so I don't think it's going to really affect too much for attendance and stuff. But it definitely makes things uneasy in the clubhouse because you could have an owner today and then a new owner tomorrow. So it makes things different. You don't know if the new owner, is going to be committed to putting something good out there, or if they're going to try to take a couple of easy years and just try to get by, with what they got. So it definitely kind of makes things different whenever you have new manager or new leadership or new ownership. I think that it's less. I think it affects the fans less than it does the players because you just don't know really who the new owner is going to be and what their mindset's going to be and what their plans are. So you really don't know if you're going to be kind of a long term fixture in the organization, or if the new owner or the current owner is ready to just kind of sell everybody and trade everybody off. So it probably creates a little bit of uneasiness in there. I know that in basketball, the Timberwolves have gone through this kind of stuff before with new management, new ownership, and stuff all the time. And when you're having this many people kind of coming and going as coaches or front office people, it just makes for a bad product and an inconsistent product.
Yeah. No, it does. I mean, how is that going to affect, I mean, granted, we're in the middle of the season now or start of the season. What's it going to affect for players wanting to stay, players wanting to come? Like Greg said, one day you got this owner, next couple weeks you might have a different owner, different boss wants to do things differently. So, how about this for a proposal? We trade Oakland to Washington, and Washington Nationals go to Oakland and see how that works out since both teams are, yeah. So, but another story here I want to get to. Is Adam Barber posted, one of our colleagues here on Coast to Coast, a story here from former um, Dodgers outfielder Steven Sazona. I know I'm going to butcher that name wrong. Say that half the league is cheating like half the league was cheating like the Astros. Now, I'm not an Astro fan, neither is Adam, neither none of us. We got to think that there's some kind of cheating going on. I mean, trying to get that upper hand. I mean, we've all played sports. I played baseball. I mean, you're trying to find you just take the picture for instance. You're trying to see if he's going to, steal or give away what pitch he's going to get. You're up there watching him, trying to figure out, okay, what's his motion for a fastball? What's his arm location for a curveball? You're trying to get that when you're sitting on the bench. And, just like, you got all the scouting reports and stuff like that. I mean, you're sitting at second base. You're trying to see what the pitch is, going to be throwing. I mean, so is he right or is he wrong? Greg, I'll start with you. Is he right in your eyes that more than half the team's cheating?
It wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot of teams trying to get an edge, trying to anticipate things. I know that it's a little bit different when you're talking about like football and basketball, but there's still a lot of scouting on, trying to figure out what certain offenses teams are trying to use or what kind of set plays are, a basketball team's going to use. Just like the NFL, you're trying to see what kind of defenses they throw out there, what kind of offensive packages they like to throw out there. So there's all kinds of scouting and stuff involved in sports. Baseball is a little bit different, because you never know what the pitcher and catcher are going to come up with. It's throw the ball, hit the ball kind of thing, where in basketball, you can sit there and pretty much diagram a team's whole playbook, within a game and know what they're going to run and who they're going to go to and who's going to be their 3-point shooters and who's going to be this kind of specialist and everything. So it's a little bit different, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot of teams trying to do things just like it's been alleged that back in the 80s and 90s, over 60%, they say that over 60% of the league was taking steroids at
Oh
some
yeah.
point, and only a select few got caught or a
Yep.
select few ever got drug tested or something. So it doesn't surprise me that there's this many people coming out and saying that the Astros, aren't the only ones that were in on this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think that the Astros happened to get caught and things came down on them, but I'm sure that there was probably quite a few other teams and other players trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. No, Adrian, I do gotta agree. You got two good comments up here. I don't know the teams that went that is uh intent like the Astros did. You're exactly right. I don't know any teams that went that far. I mean, you're right. Everyone's trying to get the edge. The Stros were using
Yeah.
cameras and stuff like that, and trash cans, and you're right on that. I mean, I don't remember a team. Maybe the Patriots with Spygate and stuff, but outside of that, yeah, I get what you're coming from. Um, yeah,
And
they
that's
went.
probably why the Astros got caught, is
Yep,
because they went a little bit over the top, turning
yep,
each game into
I,
like a stomp concert, with
yep.
the trash cans and the banging around on the drums and
Exactly,
stuff.
I
exactly.
think they always say, and I'm being funny about it, but you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Now, maybe not to the extent of what the Astros did, but I think each team has their own system of getting the edge on something.
Yep,
I mean,
exactly.
you had the NFL with Stickum, you had
Yep,
other things, but
yep.
each team has a way.
Well,
You're either gonna get caught or not.
you can even go to the extent of, you get new players every year on each team. You can't tell me the coach doesn't have them in their office be like, hey, what what does these guys do? What does this guy do? Guys, coaches, managers, other players, are picking the brains of new players on teams they're facing. Be like, hey, what pitch does this guy like? How is this guy? So
Yeah, if
it's all around.
if you're playing a team that you just signed a player off of,
Yep,
you're gonna pick his brain, saying, okay, you're on maybe the Blue Jays.
yep,
What's their system like?
yep. No
Back in the
doubt.
day, a lot of players used to cork their bats, but the only ones that ever got caught were the ones that broke their
Yep,
bats. So
yep. Well, yeah, Sosa. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
right.
there's a lot. You know, and then I saw another story here of, I think it was a Phillies third baseman took some shots at the fans for booing him after making a couple errors in the field, and then he recently retracted that, um, saying the emotions got best of him. But we kind of talked about it in our chat that, hey, it's Philly. If you're making mistakes, they're gonna rat on you. They booed Santa Claus, for God's sake. So, um, was the player right in saying what he said? I'm trying to see if I can find the quote here, but Greg, what do you think? Was the player right in venting a little bit and then retracting it, or should he just kind of just blown it off?
Um, well, as we know, when it comes to sports towns, Philly is one of the rougher sports towns to be in, because whether it's the Eagles or the Phillies or um, even the Sixers, but not the Sixers as much, but with the Eagles and the Phillies, you definitely can't be thin-skinned
Yeah.
if you're playing there, because that's one of the more hostile environments. The fans take everything to heart. So when players make mistakes, whether they're beloved or not, they even came down on Mike Schmidt a few times.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely, I think that it's one of those things where if the fans come down on you and stuff, yeah, it is disrespectful and everything. But in a city like Philadelphia, that's to be expected. If you don't perform, you're going to hear about it. So I think that if you're playing every day, or if you're playing in Philly, you're going to have to get some thick skin, because if you make a lot of mistakes and stuff, you're going to hear about it. You're going to disappoint some of the fans.
Yeah, definitely gotta have thicker skin. So yeah, I'm reading the story here. It looks like he had three errors in the first 3 innings, which led to a 4-0 lead. Fans started booing. He said, in a report, "F this. I hate this place." I guess the lip readers caught that on camera. And
Oh,
then afterwards, he came out and said emotions got the best of him. He didn't mean to offend any offense towards the franchise or Philadelphia. I I said it. Do I mean it? No. It was a frustrating night for me. Obviously, made a few mistakes in the field. So yeah, we all make mistakes. I mean, we make mistakes at work. We probably drop the bomb, say we don't like this place, don't like certain people. I mean, we probably all say it. But Chris, what do you take from should he have said it? Should he been okay to vent a little bit? I mean, you know,
I mean, you're okay to vent, but I think you should have maybe not been so vocal. That should have been like off to the side or something where he should have said it. I don't know if he should have said it on camera or with a microphone or whatever.
yeah,
If he was wired up, that should have been behind closed doors. I thought.
yeah. I know when I play sports and mess up, I typically will go away from the team and just kind of vent in a stall or out in the corner of the outfield. And then kind of blow my smoke and then go back to the dugout and be a part of the team. But I mean, it's sports. We get frustrated. We make mistakes. I mean, I don't think there's ever been one player that's ever played a perfect game, and not, But yeah, they definitely got to have thick skin in Philadelphia. Just like most fans. So
Or any sport, really.
yeah, exactly. Any sports, you're exactly right. So checking out some scores here quick before we kind of wrap it up. So it looks like we're in the top of the fifth in the Rays Athletics game, 6-3 Rays. Going into the seventh, Mets up 1-0 on Philly. Bottom of five, Brewers Orioles are still tied at 4. The Blue Jays Yankees up by 3 at the top of the fifth. Marlins and Angels are tied at 1 at the bottom of the sixth. The Braves and Nationals, Braves 7-1 at the bottom of the fourth. The Twins and Dodgers are still tied, end of 4, going into the fifth. Cardinals Royals still tied at 3, top of the fourth. Rockies and Rangers. Chris, your Rangers are up 1-0, top of third. So
Yay.
that's the scores we got here so far. So yeah. So guys, outside of that, I don't have it. I got one other story here. I saw that Dodgers longtime dress announcer, public address announcer, Vince Scully won the Baseball Digest Lifetime Achievement Award. Is it a real?
Congratulations.
Is it a real award? Is it award just because Players Digest or Baseball Digest wants it? Whatever. Like Chris said, congratulations to him.
I'm sure it's a real award.
Oh yeah. I mean, is it an award that really means anything to anybody? I mean, it's not like I mean, C2C, we can have our own awards. Is that going to mean a lot to people? Is what I was kind of getting at. But anyways,
Okay.
either way, a meaningful award or not, you're getting the knowledge. Baseball's Digest has been around forever, so props up to him. He's 94. He retired back in 2016, ending 67 years of broadcasting career that stretches back to when the Dodgers played in Brooklyn. I mean, what can we say about Vince? What can we say about Vince Scully? I mean, Greg, could you imagine doing the same job for 67 years?
No, I couldn't imagine doing the same job for 67 7 years. But I mean, talk about devotion. I mean, a guy that just absolutely loves the game of baseball. He even followed him from Brooklyn all the
Yep.
way to Los Angeles. So, started out pretty young, made the move from the East Coast to the West Coast, and he's been with them ever since. I mean, talk about dedication. But I mean, a job like his to call baseball games every day, though, I think that would be something I'd be interested in doing for 67 years. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. But yeah, that's just a lot of devotion. I mean, talk about a storied career. The
Yeah.
voice of the Dodgers.
So I'm reading this story, and it looks like it's only been in existence. This is the second year. So Vince Scully was one of 6 finalists last year when Willie Mays won it, the inaugural award.
Huh.
So, and then there was a 17-member panel that included Bobby Cox, Sandy Koufax, Rachel Robinson, Bud Selig, Joe Torre, among others that voted for him.
That
So,
makes sense. That makes
so
sense.
Chris, what do you think? I mean, 67 years. I mean, doing one job. I mean, just think of the games that he saw. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, he even though he's in the booth, he had a front row seat to everything.
Yep.
I mean, whether it be calling a World Series game or a playoff game, even a regular season game, he had a front row seat. Yeah, it was, 60 plus years, but a lot of people would like to have a job where you call sports, on radio or whatever, and just say, hey, I get to go to games for free.
Yeah, get paid to do it. But yeah, he's also won the National Baseball Hall of Fame Fred C. Frederick Award for broadcasting excellence in '82. I'm surprised he hasn't won that more because the guy was the voice pretty much of baseball. I mean, you couldn't talk voices of baseball without mentioning his name. And then he also received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016. So yeah, so congrats to him. Yes, true baseball fans. Baseball Digest is their thing, so I totally get it. But with that being said, guys, again to our fans, Coach Dirk was stuck in traffic. He was trying to get on, but he hasn't. So we'll definitely get a earful next week about his Mets because he's going to have 2 weeks to talk. So, but Greg, give us some final thoughts here as we close out the show.
Well, I think that we can anticipate a really great baseball season this year. I think that we're going to see some really tight races. I think that every division has a couple of teams that are going to definitely give each other a run for the money. So look for a lot of teams to improve this year. Teams like Seattle is on the rise with picking up Robbie Ray. Excellent pitching performance opening day.
That was good. That was
Pitched
good.
7 strong innings, gave up like 1 run on a few hits. So just look for some really tight races. I don't think anything's going to separate anytime soon. So I think midway we're going to see some teams kind of drift down towards the bottom. The usual suspects right now, the Pirates, Orioles. I don't think we're going to see much from them right now. But anybody that's a baseball fan, anybody that's a sports fan, even if your team's not doing great, just keep the faith because sometimes a lot of teams are just in it for the long term. So if your team doesn't seem to be in it for the short term, that's okay because sometimes there's a lot to be said for long-term investment. And as we've seen before, sometimes it doesn't pay off to give away the whole world to try to win now. We've seen it with the Lakers. That they don't have any draft picks until 2027. So it's pretty much all or nothing in some of these franchises. So just be patient out there, guys.
Yep, Chris, how about you, bud?
No, it is early, and at the end of the season, including playoffs and World Series, one team's going to be right. When their fans say it's our year. One team's going to be right.
Yep, and it hasn't been the Cowboys since '95.
That is true.
No, but yeah, definitely. I mean, we had a great, NFL postseason. The playoffs were awesome. We roll into basketball and we roll into hockey now. Playoffs are going to be phenomenal. Start of baseball so far has been great. Like Greg said, if you're a sports fan, enjoy it. Because we haven't seen games like this. Especially in football, but baseball,
enjoy it. Even if
yeah.
you're a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, you have the best stadium in all of baseball. Just go out and enjoy yourself. Even if you don't have the greatest of luck, just go out there and enjoy a game. A lot of people don't have that luxury of going to a baseball game. So
you're exactly right. Everybody doesn't have the luxury. So with that being said, thank you, the fans. Adrian, great comments today. Greg, it was great having you. Crispy Bacon, good to have you. Keep checking out C2C. Tonight we are not having a live episode of not Between the Ropes. Tuesday Night Mania, we're going to replay last week's show.
Yep.
So anybody checking that out, just remember it's last week. And then check us out tomorrow. We got Joanne, Bo and Joe's show. And then we got a Sports Minute tomorrow. So keep checking us out. With that being said, check us out next week on Deck. Have a good day.